slowly getting erased, like text on a chalkboard. Sounds impossible? Unfortunately, millions of people every day choose to ignore the telltale signs of memory problems and face a terrible yet very real outcome: complete memory shutdown. When this happens, there is only one option left: a care home, where nobody will care for you anymore. Your kids, your spouse, your friends, everyone will forget about you. You won't be able to eat, to dress, or to wash yourself. Pills will be shoved daily down your throat to keep you compliant. You will have nothing left. Until recently, if you were a man or a woman over 40 grappling with memory loss, this was the only alternative. Fortunately, you can prevent this grim fate from becoming your reality, thanks to a recent scientific breakthrough, which will dramatically boost your brain power in a way that allows you to remember everything in full detail for years. This means an improved memory, improved mental clarity, and improved all-round well-being. This powerful memory rejuvenation solution is so new and so unconventional, I can almost guarantee that neither you nor your doctor will have heard about it ever before. Even so, it's already been used successfully and discreetly by 64,783 people and counting, including Nobel laureates, finance CEO, tech moguls, and Hollywood celebrities, people you know by name. And it is scientifically proven to work whether you're young or old, suffering from occasional forgetfulness, or even if you've been dealing with bad memory for months, years, or even decades. And the best part is, it's fast, 100% natural, and completely safe. Every day, thousands of people all across the world who had lost more than 90% of their memory can fully vouch this really works. Like Tom Richards from Sacramento, California, who said,
"Working as a safety inspector at a nuclear plant, I had to be fully focused 12 hours a day. So when my memory started to mess up, it wasn't just my job at risk, but millions of lives as well. This fantastic remedy has been my lifeline. It's brought back the clarity and focus that I thought I'd lost forever."
Or Elena Rivera, a single veteran widow from Austin, Texas, who said,
"When my memory problems began, all my friends and relatives abandoned me. And of course they did. I would completely forget any phone conversation that I had just had with them the second I hung up. So discovering this miracle has been a godsend. Now I have the memory of an elephant. I joined a book club, learned basic Japanese, and made dozens of new friends along the way. My life has never been better."
And finally, Samuel Hicks of Detroit, Michigan, who said,
"As a father of 3, I was very frightened when I noticed that I couldn't remember the simple stuff, like the birth dates of my daughters. How could I take care of my family if my brain wasn't working? I thought this was it. But thanks to this, now I can help my daughters with their math homework, tell them stories about my own childhood, and support my family, as I should."
Even scientists are thrilled by this. Here's what Professor Annabelle Beckingham, a renowned cognitive scientist and memory expert, has to say.
"After a thorough review of the scientific evidence, I can honestly say this is a revolutionary approach to memory rejuvenation. I fully recommend this to anyone seeking a sharp and focused mind, regardless of age."
The stories of these people could be your story. And in just a few short minutes, I'm going to present to you all the new scientific evidence and reveal why so many people are still mentally sharp even well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. You will also find out the true culprit of memory loss. It's not sugar, soy, or even aging process. Instead, it's a common yet highly dangerous mineral not many people know about, found in water, wine, and nearly every food you eat. And of course, I'll also reveal a fast and natural solution you can start using today to neutralize this memory-robbing substance and boost your brain power, enhance your mental clarity, and completely rejuvenate your memory. And I promise you this, you're going to feel the difference right away. And you'll wish you'd used this simple, natural solution years ago. Just imagine the difference this could make. No more forgetting important dates or details. No more struggling to recall names or faces. The horrible feeling of confusion and fear, of embarrassment, will finally be gone. How does that sound? Now, if you're a little skeptical about all of this, I completely understand. But I'm willing to stake my own reputation and money that starting today, you will regain your memory, live a fear-free life, and finally take control and full advantage of your brain and memory like you should. But before we get to that, let me first introduce myself and explain why I decided to share this life-saving information with you. Hello, my name is Matthew Thomas. I come from a little town called Carrollton near Dallas, and my childhood was anything but normal. You see, I was born with what they call an extraordinary memory. As a kid, the father at our local church would always gasp with amazement as he saw me solve a Rubik's Cube in just 50 seconds, or remember a word-by-word psalm after just reading it once. Later on, as a teenager, I could easily recall the first 100 digits of pi straight from my memory. And throughout my 27-year career as a computer scientist, I've applied my exceptional memory and thinking skills to pioneer artificial intelligence systems for industry-leading companies like Google, Amazon, and many others. So you can only imagine the immense shock I felt when one day my most powerful asset, my memory, completely failed me, leaving me as nothing but a mere shadow of my former self. It all began one evening not long ago. I was on my way back home from the grocery store, and suddenly I became disoriented, unable to control myself. All of a sudden, my mind completely switched off. The next thing I remember is me standing in the middle of a bustling road, frozen like a deer caught in the headlights of an approaching truck. At the very last second, someone pulled me back, literally saved my life. Coming so close to passing away left me shaky and breathless. How could something like this even be possible? What did my mind switch off all of a sudden? Before this, sure, there had been signs, and now, in retrospect, I wish I'd paid more attention to them. Minor slip-ups, senior moments, they call them, like forgetting where I parked my car at the grocery store, entering a room, unable to remember why, looking for my glasses and finding they were right in front of me all the time. But these instances seemed harmless, laughable even. But that night, with the truck ready to shatter me into pieces, my failing memory wasn't just a harmless anecdote. It was a life-threatening hazard. Something was seriously wrong with me. Of course, I was in total denial. Thankfully, my dear wife, Marissa, recognized the signs of rapid memory decline. She took me to the best doctors in the country, hoping they would put a stop to all of this. But for them, I was just another case, not a human being. And like thousands before me, they put me on pills without even blinking twice. I felt like a guinea pig, Aricept, lecanemab, and some other very expensive drugs. Of course, nobody warned me, but soon the unbearable side effects kicked in. My heart was pounding like a jackhammer against a concrete wall, and even eating became a chore as my stomach churned after each meal. Soon my head began throbbing day and night, and I could barely keep my eyes open at times. Obviously, I took a brain scan, and the results horrified me. My brain was literally bleeding, and it wasn't just me experiencing these horrendous side effects. According to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, lecanemab has a very horrible side effect, which can cause brain bleeding. Obviously, I immediately stopped the treatment, which turned out to be a critical threat to my very own life. Like you, at first, I put all my trust into the system. But then I realized I was such a fool. These big pharmaceutical corporations don't care at all about the side effects of their drugs as long as they can make money and profit from desperate folks. Little did I know back then that, in fact, there's a natural and inexpensive way to treat memory loss, even the most severe cases like mine. But you won't hear about that from your doctor or mainstream health publications, because how else will these big pharmaceutical companies continue to turn a profit? We're talking about a $6.1 billion market for drugs that, frankly, don't work and never will. Feeling desperate, I realized that nobody really cared for me or my well-being. I had to do something really fast, so I began looking beyond those harmful drugs. So I started trying out different memory therapies like cognitive exercises, changing my diet, and so forth. But these methods had their own problems. They took up a lot of time and money and effort, and at the end of the day, my memory wasn't getting any better. I was running in circles, and I felt like it was a dead end. Now, of course, I understand that my case of memory loss was particularly severe, and your symptoms might be a lot less. Perhaps just forget the words or phrases here and there. But regardless of that, if you're happy to carry on living with any kind of memory loss and choose to ignore what I'm about to show you, you'll be putting your health at serious risk. And for one very important reason. You see, according to research published in the National Institute of Aging Journal, even the smallest form of memory loss can progress into something completely disrupts the entire life. Your memory loss starts off with forgetting someone's name or feeling blank in the middle of a conversation. Nothing too serious, just what most people would consider normal as you grow older. And the next thing you know, you're unable to make simple phone calls or remember where you are or what your name is. I know this for a fact because ignoring my memory problems not only nearly destroyed my life, but it also the life of my loved ones. Who the hell are you? I remember asking my wife one day as I simply didn't recognize her for a fraction of a second. She tried to hide her tears, but things began to get worse and worse. Afraid that something terrible would happen to me, she locked me inside the house. Can you even imagine that? I struggled as much as I could to keep my head straight, to focus, and to be aware of what was going on around me. But one day, my mind completely gave up on me. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I can't remember anything from that period. It's like a blank slate. This is nothing compared to what happened next. You see, one day I found myself in an unknown hospital room with a nurse attempting to shove a bunch of pills down my throat. "What are you doing to me?" I screamed, terrified, slapping the nurse and spilling a glass of water and pills all over the floor. She gently explained that I was in a private clinical facility dedicated to untreatable patients with memory problems such as myself. She told me that my wife brought me here crying as she was devastated watching me slip into complete madness and oblivion. And her decision to place me in the hospital was apparently a last resort to save what little remained of my once sharp mind. Oh, my poor wife, I can only imagine the torture she had to endure seeing me like that. But as God works in mysterious ways, a true miracle happened. As I stood there trying to understand what was going on, all of a sudden, I felt a torrent of memories flooding my mind, thousands of deep personal memories. They started to rush back, the details of my personal life, my birthday of my wife, the phone number from decades ago, 214-377-4769, the smell of my wife's favorite perfume, and so on. All of a sudden, I regained my sense of self. I couldn't believe it. Later on, I found that there were dozens of other seemingly incredible cases like mine. Like this man who got his memory back after 20 years of continued memory loss, seizures, and face blindness. Or this girl who miraculously regained all her memory after a 5-year-long total amnesia. Of course, there were still many things I couldn't remember, and I had a million burning questions. What was this place I was in? How long have I been here? What kind of treatment have they been giving me? The nurse, visibly shaken, immediately called the doctor. It was then when I first met Dr. R. You see, the world of medical research can be controversial and sometimes even dangerous. Dr. R's groundbreaking work in memory loss treatments has made him very powerful enemies who would give anything to see him out of the picture. For his safety and to respect his wishes, I'll refer to him simply as Dr. R. But what I can tell you is that he was like no other doctor I have ever met. For him, I wasn't just another patient. I was a human being. He told me about himself, a decorated neuroscientist with more than 23 years of experience collaborating as an independent medical researcher with only the leading neuroscience research centers from all over the world, such as the University of Michigan, University College London, and the exclusive Karolinska Institute in Sweden. He told me about the facility I was in and how it used cutting-edge medical practices to give people a last shot at reclaiming their lives from difficult memory loss conditions, including progressive memory loss like I was dealing with. I also found out that Dr. R understood me like nobody else because his dear wife had also been struggling with severe memory loss. However, when it came to my